We've got some brand new lore from the latest White Dwarf, a bag full of lore really, which I'm going to be covering over the next few days. What we're going to be talking about today is the Votann, because it seems that we're getting the first hints of Chaos Votann, or maybe it's got to be something else, something bigger that we're going to explore in this video. So let's jump in and let's get waffling. So let's start with a passage of text, which I'm going to put in the background right now. This is from Sergeant Adijaya. I'm sorry, I've completely butchered that already. From the Cadian 97th. And it says, I didn't trust the squat folk from the start. How the governor approved their contract is beyond me. The worst of them were the metal ones, nothing more than machines in armor with not a shred of life of the organic about them. It sent a shiver down my spine to see them move and talk just like they were alive. The kin, as the squats call themselves, were tasked with holding our left flank. What happened after that, Throne only knows. Some say their steel brothers turned on them, sprouting mutant swords and coiling tentacles. I've never seen squats spook before, but the betrayal shook them to their core. Now, one big thing to note that this White Dwarf magazine centers around Vashtorr and the Inquisition. The Inquisition bit we'll get onto in another video because that is big things, but Vashtorr coming back to real space seems to be sprouting out a bunch of madness when it comes to machines. Vashtorr has now returned in the Pariah Nexus with all the warp shenanigans that's happened there. I will be doing a separate video covering that return and, well, basically the ending of that, because there's a lot of big things in that. But for now, the machines are going mental. And if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a foil video actually, I started to talk about how I think that Vashtorr is going to be one of the main villains now in 10th edition, and he's kind of got to get his own faction. That means new models are going to be coming with Vashtorr, and I've already started to hear rumors about potential Vashtorr models as well. But again, we'll get onto that when we get more details, and I think this lore now in the White Dwarf magazine is building that up. Now, going back to the actual statement itself from the guardsman, it stated, of course, like the robots that were serving the squats, aka the Votann, turned against them, or that's what it seemed to happen, sprouting like tentacles and all warp shenanigans and stuff like that. And the question is now, for Votann players and everyone really who's watching this video, would you want a Votann faction or Votann models that have been corrupted by chaos? Do you think that could be a cool addition to add to Warhammer 40,000? I know there's a lot of races out there that still need updates and stuff like that, Eldar and everything like that, but I'm saying in the future, once everyone's got all their updates and refreshes, how about a Votann faction that is not really, well, I say loyalist like it's loyal to the Imperium, but it's out on Chaos's side rather than its own stuff. Now, there's one thing really to add onto this and talk about. Actually, there's two things, but I'm going to start with the big thing is that way back, like during, I think this was like 3, 4, 5 years ago, when we were hearing the rumors of the Votann stuff coming out, and it was just like, I don't know, it was just like maximum amount of salt being sprinkled. One of the rumors was that the Votann are going to return, but with them is the Men of Iron as well. And something that sticks out in that is the way the guardsmen describe like these humanoid type of beings that were, you know, they're looking like humans, they're walking like humans, but they're not really humans. And when it came to the battle, they basically turned on their masters, just like the Men of Iron turned on the Imperium. What if, right, going really down this theory hole, the Votann came across the Men of Iron, they started to work with the Men of Iron, then maybe they enslaved the Men of Iron some type of way, and now with all the shenanigans that have been going on, Vashtorr, it's tripped something in their wiring, and they've rebelled. Once again, is this the start of another faction? The Men of Iron returning to Warhammer 40,000. We've already seen that the Men of Iron are still present in 40k. The Blackstone Fortress, it shows us that they're still here. They're still hiding in plain sight. Could this be another ripple effect coming into play. Now, the other thing I think potentially this could be is Chaos Androids. Now, this is going way back in the lore. I think this like fell off a cliff into the oblivion, but it's been crawling its way back up in the last couple of months. And I personally think we could see Chaos Android models on the tabletop, new Chaos Android lore hitting stuff like White Dwarf magazines, or maybe like the big next narrative campaign. I do think we've only got one book left in the Pariah Nexus, and that is with Gilliman meeting the Silent King. Then after that, I think it's going to bounce back to the Imperium versus Chaos, or some other Xenos races versus Chaos / the Imperium in there as well. And I think Chaos Androids may be a part of this, especially with the return of Vashtorr now back in real space, the Wormwood planet back in real space. I think these are the big changing things now of the 40k narrative going forward in 10th edition. If you're watching this video on Sunday, then prepare yourself, strap yourself in, because next week we are going deep. There's hints of Perturabo returning to Warhammer 40,000, which we're going to be talking about. The Iron Lord is cometh. We're talking about the Inquisition and all the things that is going on with that. We've got rumors to talk about. If you're a cog boy, then strap yourself in. It's going to be an emotional time for you. So many glorious bloody things to talk about. New lore, models, rumors. It's all bloody buzzing. I'll see you all next week. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on this video. What do you think? Is it just going to be Chaos Votann? Is it going to be Chaos Androids? Or is it going to be the big one? The Men of Iron are returning to Warhammer 40,000. Let me know in the comment section, and we can have a nice little chin wag down there, as we always do. See you now. Have a great day, and bye-bye.